Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to be drawing a simple, easy picture of Deadpool. So get your sheet of paper at home and dive straight in. Near the top of your piece of paper, I want you to start drawing a rough circle shape. It's a bit more oblong, a bit more of an egg shape if anything. And this is going to be the very top of Deadpool's head. And then get a line roughly down the middle, and this distance here, double it roughly to the bottom of that line, and that's going to be where we're probably going to have his chin or thereabouts. Now go to the outside edge of this and turn it all into this big loose egg shape for a moment, like so, and like so. But instead of curving off the lines, we're actually going to stop around about halfway down this point and just cut straight in. This is going to be his Deadpoolish jaw shape. He is of course the merc with a mouth, except you can't see his mouth. You can only really see his expressions through his eyes. So the eye cowl bit, the kind of black Spider-Man zone, if you take off about from this whole head site around about a quarter from the top, something like that, and again around about a quarter from the bottom or a little bit less, and this is the zone that we're going to draw in these big kind of weird, horrible black clown-shaped eye patch ellipses. Really long and weird. Kind of makes it look almost like some creepy Tim Burton style character. But you get the idea what's going on. Nice and low, and then back, up and around like so. Now, if you follow this circle imaginary line, as this line comes in through here, this is where we're going to be putting some eyes. So if you just draw yourself a cheeky little eye shape in here, little Deadpool look, curve it out around the bottom, lovely. We'll do the same on this side as well, something like so, then curved up around the bottom again. And now already we've got his rough Deadpool face. Let's check through the camera. Good start, everybody. Keep it in focus. Yes, lovely. Now, the body area. If we drop a line that comes down through here, that's going to be the middle of our Deadpool figure. And then we're going to want to come around about half this whole head height. We're going to go that distance again, roughly, and that's going to be where the collarbones and everything comes together. So I want you to get a rough zone measured out. This is going to be, everybody, roughly where we're going to fit Deadpool's body. So we're keeping this about 4 of these heads wide, roughly. If you imagine, you could fit 4 Deadpool heads in there. And then what we're going to do is from right down the outside of this line, right on the side, we're just going to start to draw some lines that come down about here and about here. And this is Deadpool's overly, weirdly, comic book way, super thick neck. I'm going to bring those lines down to here, and there's going to be all sorts of neck muscles in here. The main 2 groups being a muscle here with that shape, and a muscle here with that shape. Really big in a comic book situation, these ones. And then let's just come off where we've made these little corners and just bring things down to the outside quarters of this whole chest space. Now what we're going to do is map in a body shape where it's got folded arms. And the way to make this easy for our lives is we're going to do it by mapping out lots of simple shapes. So if we start with some shoulders, Deadpool's got some massive shoulder circles, which I'm going to put around about here. Shoulder circle 1, lovely. And somewhere around about here, shoulder circle 2. And then you don't really see much of the arms and the biceps, because really what's happening is you've got some forearms that are going to be taking up the situation. Now, I'm going to start the forearm by actually doing a circle. This will be where the forearm roughly attaches to the biceps and so on. We're going to have another one down around about here. On this character, I'm making sure that this forearm is a little bit lower because it tucks under where we've got the folded arm situation. You'll see in just a moment. Now I can join these circles with kind of lumpish shape here. That'll be the tricep, and a kind of lumpish shape here. Also the outside of the tricep. Now this arm is going to be on top. So from the middle of this circle, we're going to have a line that goes up towards the other shoulder. And you can do the same for this circle as well. Just a little guiding point as to how we're going to have things. Well, we're going to have things something like this. This is where the wrist is going to stop. So I'm simply going to kind of join up this circle over here. I'm going to join it up over here as well. And then we'll just have a kind of shape that curves back in, because that will be hidden, that hand, thankfully. And then here, not quite perfectly on the outside, well, the inside edge of this circle. Again, I'm going to draw a big curve, and that's going to be another part of the bicep of the arm. And then we'll worry about how all of these muscle groups work together in just a moment. Then on this side, again, we're going to have a big curving line that shows, yeah, there's all sorts of forearm going on around here. All sorts of action. There'll be elbows probably sticking out around here and probably sticking out here as well. That's going to be where the pointy bit of the bony arm comes out. And then what you can do to get the collarbone in is go from the top of where the shoulders meet here and here. Again, quick look through the camera phone. Yeah, you can still just about make out what's going on. Lovely. And then we're going to just bring a line in here and bring a line in here. And then this basically is going to be where the chest is and all the muscles. So good so far. Now this line comes in. Now it's actually going to stop around about here to create a wrist, which means the hand is going to shoot up. And if you've seen that very popular Deadpool image, which I'm using as a reference right now, basically we're going to have a hand like so, and it's going to come out like so. It's going to be a rough block like this. We'll fit in 3 of the knuckles that we can see. So you can indicate that with some circles here. 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the first fingers kind of shooting off like that. Another finger like so. Again, like so. With the top one, it's actually coming up and then down a touch. So this finger's sort of sticking out a bit in a different position. And then there's a thumb, but we can just draw in just like that, around about there. Probably holding on to some straps or something. On this side, the hand tucks in and disappears. It goes in down around about there, which is where we've got more of this forearm. And we're just going to put in a big kind of line shape here, because he's got these big cuffs that go with his weird Deadpool gloves. And then down here, under the arms, we're going to, about from here to here, so only 2 of the heads, the inside section of this box, that's roughly where we're going to have the rest of his body come down. So we'll make it perhaps curve all the way up from about here and show that it cuts in there. But if we go back to the middle, we're going to create a zone around about here, which is going to be stomach muscles. So we'll split this off. We can just fit about 4 of them in there into that kind of shape. And then we've got the lats on the chest as well coming down here. So maybe it's going to stick out like such. And probably have just some gubbins and stuff on his belt that goes down there. So on this side of things, Deadpool has, let's get a tiny little ruler, a couple swords on his back in the film. So we're going to go around about here. And then let's say around about here. Do have a cup of tea in the background, really helps. And just gonna cut it off there. So let's say that this will be one of his swords. Will come in like so, and there's where the scabbard will be. Just really, whoa, just that was crazy. Just rough it out, really simple shapes. Because if you build up a block or a framework for all of your drawings and your characters, and you work out where just all of the main bits are going to be before you start, it'll really help you out. So let's look through the camera phone once more. Brilliant. If you're anything like me, you'll have a roughly blocked out shape of Deadpool. All you need to do then is kind of go back in and start to add in the actual details of the character. So what I'm going to do is just go around and put another layer on all the important bits. I like the shape of the head around here, so I'm just going to make that a bit darker. It's going to come down here, and there's a lump where his ears are. I don't know if the actual character Deadpool has ears, or if he's a real mutant freak. under the cowl, but I am incredibly excited for the film to come out. I'm sure you are too. And I'm just going to accentuate different areas now on his mask. I'm happy with all of these lines and where they come in, but they're going to have shadows and bits that show the shape and expression on the face for the most part, or at least mirror the expression that's shown in Deadpool's eyes. So up here I'm going to create a whole brow that's going to come in like so, nice and light. And then also there's going to be cheekbones up here. And then the same on this side. Big, heavy, Marvel-style character brow. And then cheekbones brought up around about here. All sorts of tight lines around about there. And then the rest, again, is kind of left to your imagination. So there's going to be some light and reflection here and here. It's kind of shaped off like that. And then on this side, just where the brow is. And I'm blocking out the shapes of where there will and won't be light, just so that when it comes to inking our picture, we can get it all in without having to use loads of white out afterwards. We'll know exactly where we are and aren't going to be drawing. Up like so. And it's a little bit down here, like so. Great. So let's go under here, continue our way down and around this chin zone, up and back, and then around about here he's got a collar as well. So it tucks back behind the chin. We'll fit the collar on here and then create a second collar line, comes all the way around here. And we've got the neck from his muscles, I should say, from his neck from the muscles, that still have their own lines in. So we've got some really deep, dark, creasing muscle lines that go right up into here to show where the collarbone all meets in. It's also some very dark power lines to come up to create the sinews and tendons in this whole area. Then some shapes that help accentuate that come up on each side. Now, where we've got the sword scabbard here, we're going to just draw in this bit of material that actually holds it in place. It's like the back harness. So it's going to come down to around about here. Again, starting by blocking in a shape. And then now I'm just going to draw it in a little bit dark around the edge. I'm going to have a gap where it's got this kind of leather framework, like so. Up, round, and down. And then this has kind of got a sort of, I don't know how to describe it, just a padded zone going on in the middle. So keep it just like that. Down in the bottom, it's got the actual strap that comes out of it. So that will shoot down here. And we'll fit in just a bit of an extension to the bottom of that shoulder thing. So that strap shows nicely. Again, a quick double check in the camera. Yes, it's all coming to life so much better. I can see the Deadpool truth of things. So many adverts about this film where he talked about touching himself. I really can't wait. On this side, the strap is much, much simpler, but it seems to lead into this hand. So we're going to start with a line that curves from the middle of where the sword is on the back, down towards the hand area. Now that we've got that in, we're going to break it up around about here and just draw in a buckle, which goes wider than the line, just like so. And then I get to just draw that line on down there, down there. The buckle implied like that, and it's all done. Let's just get this shoulder line in as well, looking nice and tough. And then it means that I can go up here and start to fit in the sword things. Well, on the very end of things will be the absolute hilt part of the handle of the sword. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down the inside of these guidelines, because I don't want the handle to be too thick. Again, right on the inside of things. And I'm going to draw just a load of lines that go across like this. Now I'm keeping these lines quite close together. And the reason why I'm doing this is it's a really good cheat to draw the saya, or the wrappings, or the handles on Japanese style weaponry and swords. Now that I've got all these lines in, I'm actually going to go and treat them all as rectangle boxes. And I'm just going corner to corner of each set of rectangles. Now it might look overly confusing or overly detailed, like I'm doing loads and loads of Union Jack symbols all the way down. But going corner to corner of these rectangles actually means I'm successfully creating lots of diamond shapes for the wrapping of the swords. So now I know that this sword is actually going to be a bit more like this. If I just highlight it with the pen, hopefully the lines that I'm going to be keeping, you'll see they actually make up the wrapping of the blade. I'm going to come all the way down on this side, like so. And then around here, I'm going to just add a bit of curve to this line to show that it's the guard sticking out. It'll be catching the light. Be coming back in and dropping onto the scabbard of the sword. So this will be thicker than a handle, just about. And basically this idea here, just copy it for this side on here. So let's go over now to this part of the picture. I've got a bit of paper here so my hand doesn't keep marking up the paper we're drawing on. Now this shoulder is built up with all sorts of shoulder muscles in this circle, but now we've got the circle in, we're going to map it out. We're going to go from where everything meets together here, from the shoulder curve to this little joint, and I'm just going to curve it round towards the middle part of the zone here, and then like an almond shape, bring it back up and round. That's our first front part of the shoulder muscle. We're then going to take this and then curve it all the way back round out here, because this is the outside edge of the shoulder muscle itself, and curve it back here as well. Now it's in between these muscle curve triangle shapes that then the triceps are going to spring forth from this character, and the biceps. Biceps fitting up on the inside, the triceps will be coming down around the back, like so, and then meeting up in the forearm. So let's go down to the elbow, right in the corner. Going to accentuate and square off this shape, bring it up, allow this whole line shape to curve in here, and then we're just going to accentuate how thick and ropey the forearm muscles are going to be. So this whole forearm shape here is a massive forearm muscle that's coming up and then becomes sort of all the tendons that reach into the hand here. We're going to have an entire zone of the arm around about here that's bringing itself in and under. So these do things like the ulnar deviation of the hand and move like the outer fingers. It's going to be a straight line that comes up towards the hand here as well. There's so many muscle groups on the forearms that it really helps to know some anatomy. We're going to throw all of these in as shapes at the moment, but as long as you've got a rough understanding of where the shapes are and what they're doing, it's a very big help. This hand has done its own job. We're just going to come around the outside and just highlight the knuckles there and there and there. And then now that we're going to go to this cuff area, we get to just put around here that it's got a big old glove. It's going to tuck in up there, so we've got some shadow. And we're going to throw it round off there as well. Maybe there'll be some folds and wrinkles on this too. Then we've got this hand over here. Again, it's just doing its thing, tucking in quite nicely. Very pleased, like so. Okay, so now on this side of things, a very similar situation going on with the shoulders. Got the front parts of some shoulder muscles down here. We bring that up around like so. The main outer part here, just being nice and big. That's some real heavy gym lifting this guy's been up to, but he's a mutant, so I guess he gets better gains than most normal people. Biceps popping in here, and just going to show that by being really big and bulging there. A lot is happening with the triceps on this arm because it's curved round, coming further down. A similar situation here. Go down to your elbow and then bring this line up, and on the inside edge it'll all join from behind. And then on this side as well, we're going to take this whole muscle group we've drawn coming down, turn it into this here, this big bulging part of the forearm muscle. It's going to curve up round in there, And then a similar situation again. We've got that long triangle edge that's coming in here. Represents a wrap of muscle there. A band muscle coming in here. And then again, it's kind of straighter line going to the shoulder, going to the elbow, I should say, right about there. And then more forearm muscle curves down off of there. Now that we tuck into things, this line still needs to be coming around. So follow this curve of this strap. And that's still going to be drawn onto the body around about here, like so. So I'm just breaking off a bit of my pencil to make it sharp. Sounds really weird. And then we're going to just have a little bit of a catch where the strap comes in there. Just get a peek of that. And then the strap line comes down here and comes down here. Then we've just got some gubbins. Just going to throw some shapes to indicate there is a belt, some stuff going on. But more importantly, these stomach muscle shapes that we've mapped out. They're going to arc down towards the middle. And they're going to be a bit ripply. So it's going to be a wavy line that shows this shape. Then we'll bring that back up and in. And a similar situation with the one below. It's got that wavy line shape and then just conforms and then pops it in there. With Marvel and DC, with Western comic book characters, there's going to be lots and lots of places of pure black, of pure light and pure shadow to really accentuate the shape of these characters. So always got to remember to map that out when we're going to be doing our inking and pen. Unlike in anime where you can get away with lots and lots of lighter lines. Comic book heroes, they like the dark, heavy ones. So, great. We've got the, if I look through here, our rough shape and our rough design of our character. Again, what I'm going to do is very quickly get the pencil done on this side and time lapse, and I'll show you what it looks like when we've got some ink on top as well. Well, there we go guys, looking better with some ink on it already. If you guys have enjoyed this video or found it useful at all, please do click on the subscribe button just below this video on your computer, or just click on my logo on the bottom right hand part of the screen if you're watching on a phone. That way you'll keep up to date with our future draw simple easy tutorials and all the other stuff we've got going on in the channel. I'll see you guys next time round. Goodbye!